Instructor J from Guardian Training Consulting, and just wanted to catch up with you. Hope you had a good weekend being isolated and doing social distancing. But I wanted to take this opportunity to, a lot of people have been asking, how do I keep my skill set sharp while I'm social distancing and staying at home? There's a multitude of ways, and again, I've been asked this quite a lot recently, so I want to take this opportunity to kind of explain some of the drills that I do so that I keep my skill set sharp even without firing around. So we're going to talk about dry fire practice today. That's what we're going to be specifically talking about. How to practice your skill set without ever firing around, expending ammunition, going to the range, and carving out that time. So if you talk to the best firearms instructors, best shooters in the world, what separates them from the average folk is dry fire practice. It's not as much as the range trips. Yes, they shoot a lot of ammunition, but a lot of it is the time that they spend at home working on the mechanics, working on trigger manipulation and manipulation, stuff like that. That really sets the stage for them. So we're going to be doing 3 different weapon systems today. So we're going to be working on our pistol. So we're going to be working on a couple drills for your pistol, a couple drills for your shotgun, and a couple drills for your rifle. Again, I just want to reiterate to people, yeah, we're shut down. We're not doing live classes right now. Governor Ducey just announced a little while ago that tomorrow, 5 p.m., there's going to be a no out, you're not allowed to be out of the house kind of order. Whether that's going to be enforceable or not, that's kind of up in the air. There's been a lot of talk that it's going to be a misdemeanor, and then there's some other talk that they're not going to be enforcing it. But again, we're not going to be doing any live classes. The classes that we are going to be doing is through Zoom. I just did a 2-hour lesson on disassembly of the firearm and cleaning of this gentleman's firearm, all by virtual classroom. And then we also have our online classes as well. So today, again, we're going to be talking about the dry fire practice. So I can't reiterate enough that safety is absolutely paramount. When I go and do dry fire, I remove myself from places that have live ammunition. So I've checked, double checked, and triple checked that I don't have any live ammunition on me or in this surrounding area. All of it is in my gun room. All that live ammunition is there. So it physically separates me from that, because the last thing that I want, one, is to shoot around outside my yard. Number 2 is I don't want to be filmed live as a firearms instructor cranking off a round and be that YouTube sensation. So again, I physically separate myself. I clear all my weapons out. Every single magazine you'll see here that has some type of ammunition, is dummy or inert training rounds. So I've checked, double checked, triple checked that all the ammunition that I have are dummy or inert training rounds. They will not go off. They're just essentially snap caps. So I have dummy rounds for all 3 of my weapon systems, for my rifle, my 12-gauge shotgun, and then my handgun as well. So again, just be safe and be cognizant that you don't want to mistake dummy ammunition for live ammunition. So a couple drills we can do. So the first thing, if you want to get better just at like a trigger press and working a trigger, a SIRT pistol, especially like a Glock SIRT pistol, is a great training tool. Yeah, they're around $150 to $180. They are like a laser pistol. That's what they do. We consider these training aids. They are not firearms. And there's a distinct difference in the mindset is that, again, this is a piece of plastic. The magazine does come out, but it cannot hold live ammunition. It is just a weight. These are training tools. Now, when I'm using them for marksmanship training, I try to treat it as a real firearm. But again, this can be used in force on force when we have to point simulated weapons at people to do like a force on force or some type of scenario based training. This is what we point at each other. This or a blue gun, because that's what these are used for. So that we don't and never have to point a live real gun at somebody, even if it's unloaded. We don't do that. We never do that. So these are great because they have They have two lasers on them. You can see here, it's kind of right there on that. And then you can see there's two lasers. The first laser is the bottom laser, and then the top laser, so the bottom laser is what we call our instructor laser. That shows how much movement there is pre-ignition. So how much this is moving before the gun goes off. And then the second laser is what the student can see, and that's during ignition or post-ignition. So that gives us that. So it's a great training tool. It does have sights on it, just like a pistol, and it has the weight, and you can work on manipulations. So if I have another training magazine, I can work a manipulation with that. So I can go on a light switch and just work trigger control on a light switch or a small object. So really cool training tool. And again, it doesn't cost you anything. It's literally just the batteries that it has. And I've yet to. If you're going to be, sorry, I had a call. If you're going to be manipulating the gun, that's when a real firearm kind of takes the cake. So we can work on drawing. We can work on loading, and then reloading our gun. So the first drill that I really like. Another thing you can get is a timer. You can get these on your phone, but I'm a really big fan of timers because, again, with timers, you can quantify what you're doing. So a great drill you can work on pertaining to your draw stroke is what we call the DeLorean drill. We call it the DeLorean drill in Haley Strategic, and what it's going to do is it's going to slow you down. And become more deliberate with your holster draw, and then you progressively get faster and faster and faster. Okay, so the drill is typically it's a live drill, but we can do it on a dry pistol. So guns unloaded. Again, all the ammunition that I have is dummy rounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the drill at 5 seconds. So just to work on the dry fire practice of drawing our handgun and coming out and being smooth and efficient, we're going to start with 5 second draw. Now, the rules of, I guess, the parameters of this drill is you have to use the whole 5 seconds to draw the gun. So it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? It has to be very slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fire. Okay, so it's just something like that. Again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. So we want to keep moving, and then once we reach that full extension, that's when the gun goes off. All right. So that's how we do the drill. It's not 5, 4, 3. That defeats the whole purpose of it. So we're going to start at 5, then we're going to go to 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1 second. Now for sub-second draws, because on this, my typical one-shot draw is about a 0.7 seconds. That's the fastest I can do it from the beep to on target and firing one round. It's 0.7 seconds. Now you can't do that. You can't quantify that because it won't register the shot because there is no shot on a dry pistol. But what you can do is set your par timer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my par timer to 5 seconds. So you're going to hear a beep. I'm going to count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. And what I'm going to try to do is get that fire as close to that second beep as possible. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. Okay, I'm going to set myself up. I'm going to find a target, like the beam here. I'm going to say shooter ready. Stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. So I'm a little slow. Okay, set it up again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. Okay, and you just keep doing that. And now I'm constantly moving. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. I'm a little slow. Okay, but you get the point. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set our timer to 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Okay. 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. Okay, and then you go down from there. Do a couple reps at that. Then we go to 3 seconds. Now this is when it's typically a little easier, just because I'm a kind of racy guy on that. So now we can go to 3 seconds. So it just looks something like this. 3, 2, 1, fire. Okay, reset. 3, 2, 1, fire. Okay, reset. So now we can go to that 3 seconds. All right. So then the next one, we're going to go to 2 seconds. And the whole purpose of the drill is you'll start to realize people that have a 1.5 or 2 second draw is as you progress, it'll get progressively easier. And then we start seeing people that typically have, again, that 2 second to 1.5 draw, bumping it down to a second. And then some people getting into that sub-seconds, like that 0.9 range. So then now we're going to set it for 2 seconds. 2, 1, fire. 2, 1, fire. See how I'm moving constantly. I'm not making it jerky. 2, 1, fire. A little fast there. Okay, so now we're going to go to a 1.5 seconds. Okay, 1.5 seconds. So 1.5 seconds is going to sound something like this. 1, fire. 1, fire. Okay. 1, fire. So you can see how I'm not moving that fast. I'm not twitching. I'm not going crazy. And it's a 1.5 seconds draw and a fire. 1, fire. 1, fire. Okay. So again, that's what we're going to do. So now we're going to go to a second. So now it's 1 second. So it's going to be 1, fire. 1, fire. Okay. 1, fire. 1, fire. So now I'm just doing 1 second draws. Okay. 1, fire. All right. And now you can get into sub-seconds. Now again, it's hard to quantify your sub-seconds whether you're on or not, but you can get an idea. Okay. So now we're going to go from 1 second to like a 0.9. So it's 0.9. So now I'm not even counting. I'm just seeing how fast if I can get that click on my trigger at that time. Okay, it's about a 0.8. Okay, so that's a 0.9. So now now I know I can ramp it up a little bit. So I'm going to go down. And this is again just you being honest. Okay, now I'm at a 0.8. Okay, so I was just under a 0.8. I'm at probably a 0.7 on that. Okay, less that one. So now I'm going to go to, again, now 0.7. So you can see what I'm doing here. I think you get the point. I'm going to do one more and see if I can get to 0.7. Okay, just right under a 7. Okay, so you get the point. So you go from 5, you go from 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Then you go 1.5, 1, and then start going sub-second. Now, the goal when you do it live fire is to get that between that in that quarter second realm. You want to be within a quarter second plus or minus, and then your advanced application would be 0.1. So if you get in that quarter second or that 0.1, then you can move to the next one. So 5 seconds, you get that 0.1 range or 0.25, depending on your application. But then once you get in there, then you can move to the next one, and get on down from there. And what you'll be surprised is how fast. Okay, so that's just something you can do with a draw. Now, when it comes to like something as simple as just learning how to load and set up the gun, if I'm going to go out on duty, and again I'm on my law enforcement gear, I'm going to set myself up and I'm going to learn how to load properly on your gun. So if I'm going to go, conceal carry that day, or I'm going to carry my firearm, obviously if I'm going to go on duty, I'm going to set myself up. So I'm going to learn how to set myself up. And everything that I do is deliberate. I'm not loading my gun down here. I'm loading my gun up here in that proverbial workspace. That's the goal. That's how we want to do it. So if I'm going to set myself up and do a couple draw strokes before I go to work, or if I'm going to conceal carry, that's what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is, if I'm going to load my gun, I'm going to look at my target. Okay, I'm going to look at my target, and now I'm going to take this opportunity to get a good draw stroke. Okay, here, get my sight picture. Okay, reach in for my again, these are inert training rounds. Reach in for my magazine that has my inert training rounds. Okay, because I'm doing dry fire practice. Now, if I'm going to work, they're going to be live rounds, or if I'm going to go to conceal carry, they're going to be live rounds, not inert training rounds. But in this case, they're inert training rounds. So I'm going to index my magazine, index my pistol, smack the magazine in, insert the magazine, come over the top, and rack. And then I'm going to do my press check. Okay, look for that brass or that nickel casing. Release it. Give it a good tap on the back just to make sure it's in battery. Okay, and then I can reholster my firearm. So I just did a draw stroke. I did a loading procedure, and then I made sure the gun was functional and ready to go, and then I did a reholstering. All in while I'm getting ready for work or concealed carry. Now, we just did the draw, so now we can work on reloads. So the first one that we call is either a tactical reload, but the common thing now that it's called, because the tactical world has just gone completely bonkers, is what we call, I'm going to fix this real quick. There we go. Is what we call the proactive reload. So the proactive reload means that I've just shot maybe 5, 10, maybe more rounds, suspect or whatever I'm shooting at, and I have spare magazines, or in my case 3 spare magazines, and I want to top the gun off. I just want to make sure the gun has the max amount of rounds this gun could possibly have. And in this case, it's 17 rounds in a magazine. All right. So if I top it off, I'm going to have 18 rounds at my disposal at that time. So I'm going to perform a tactical or a proactive reload. So I've just neutralized the threat, whatever the case may be. Everything's safe in the world, as safe as it can be. Now what I'm going to do is reach for my magazine. Okay. I'm going to swap these out for a quick second. So I'm going to swap out my magazines. So I'm going to go to my magazine pouch. Okay. I'm going to index it just like I'm going to reload my do a speed reload or an empty gun reload. But you notice I have 2 magazines. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally take my finger and create a range bird. This is, I'm not trying to flip you off, but this is what we call a range bird. So I'm moving my index finger on the other side, and I'm holding it just like that. Now I have this pincer here, and what that allows me to do is as I bring the magazine up, I'm actually grabbing, I'm pushing the magazine release, which then releases the magazine out of the gun into that pincer. This is the partial mag now. This right here is the full mag right here. Okay, so I go up, push the button, releases the magazine in my hand, the full magazine, and replace it. Now, a lot of people say, what do you do with this mag? You put it in a pocket because you never want to mix up your partials with your fulls. Well, my fighting tools for this goes in my mag pouches, because if that's the last mag that I have, and yes, it's partial, and all these other 2 mags have gone by the wayside, and this is the only mag that I have in my magazine pouch, and then the gun goes empty. What am I going to probably reach for first? You got it, that last partial mag. And if that's all the rounds I have, at least they're in a place where I recognize them. Now, again, what do you have in your pockets? Chapstick, keys, Other stuff like that, knives, the last thing you want to do is go for that last magazine and pull out your chapstick, your keys, your knife. Again, fighting tools go here. So if you just have one spare magazine, then it makes it easy. You're just going to reach for that one spare magazine, perform an attack reload or a proactive reload, and you're good. Okay. Now, if you have multiple amount of magazines like me, like I have three magazines right here. Which one would be suggested to reach for on a tack reload? It would be the last one that I ever reach for. That's the goal. Because this will be the last one I ever reach for. So then I do my tack reload. Guess what? That partial magazine will be the last one that I ever reach for. Because all my full ones are in front. Because this will be the first one I ever reach for. That one right here, that's more center line. And the one back here is the last one that I reach for. Okay, so if I'm going to do it, I'm going to swap them out and I want to replace that magazine where it is, that's the last one I want to reach for. Okay, so can we do this without any ammunition? Absolutely. I can just sit here and work on the dexterity of doing this. Okay, this is what I call Netflix and reload. All right, so you can just sit here and just do this and work on moving that. Now, if you want to add your belt to it, now you can add indexing it from here and indexing it to there, indexing it from here, indexing it from there. And again, I'm not looking down. I'm looking right at you while I'm doing this. Okay. If you're thinking, oh well, Josh is looking at the screen. Okay, I'll look up here. Again, I'm not looking at what I'm doing. All I'm doing is feeling it, having that proprioception and kinesthetic awareness of where my magazine my magazine pouch is. Okay, so that's attack reload or the proactive reload. Now, gun goes empty. Let's use an empty mag, for example. Okay, so we're just going to let that dummy round drop. We have an empty magazine. Okay, we've just shot all the ammunition out of our magazine. Now what do we do? Okay, so now we're going to work on speed reloads or your empty gun reload. So all we're going to do is this is how we're going to practice it. Gun goes empty. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the magazine that doesn't have any rounds in it and reach for the magazine that you want that does have rounds in it at the same time. So you can see here, I rotate the gun in my hand and index the magazine release at the same time. I'm multitasking. That's what I'm doing. I don't drop the magazine, I don't drop the empty magazine and reach for the full magazine and then reload it. I'm doing it at the same time. Okay? Walking and chewing bubble gum. So I'm reaching for it and dropping the magazine. I'm index the magazine here. Then insert the new magazine. Now, there's some debate over whether you index the slide stop or slide release or come over the top and power stroke it. There's been the elementary argument that in a gunfight, your fine motor skills diminish and all you have left is the gross motor skills. So they say you'll never be able to reach this slide stop in a gunfight. Well then, how are you expected to reach the magazine release? This is a button right here too. So I'm not going to get on a long tangent about that. But again, if you can reach for the magazine release, you can reach for the slide stop. Okay. So this is how it's going to look. This is how the drill is going to go. You're going to be set up right here. Okay. Then the gun goes empty. You're going to perform your reload. Drop the slide. You're going to reacquire your grip, and then you're going to fire. Okay. Now, how do you set the gun up again? So you're going to reach down. You reach down, pick up the spare mag. Okay. Tack reload or reload. So you're going to put the mag here. Okay. Then you're going to reach for it. You're going to do a proactive reload, and then you're set up for there. So then fire, gun goes empty, reload, and get back on target. And you just do that over and over and over and over again. And you don't even need dummy rounds for that. You can just work on loading the gun from there. So it's going to look like this again. Okay, take your magazine. Okay, you're going to fire, gun goes empty. Okay, gun goes empty. Drop the magazine, insert the new magazine, index the slide stop or slide release, or come over the top. It's your choice. Then once the slide goes home into battery, then you reacquire your grip and you fire. Okay, but when we reload, we're not down here. We're not reloading down here. We're reloading up here, and I want my eyes up here. So again, set it up, slides lock back, gun's empty, you come back on target, and it's that fast, okay? So do you have to have ammunition for that? No, you don't have to have ammunition. You can do it in your backyard like I'm doing right now. All right, so we did the attack reload, we did or your proactive reload, and then we did our emergency or speed reload or empty gun reload, okay? And that was all with the pistol. So now, if you have an AR-15, same thing applies. Now what we're going to do is get to work, or whatever the case may be, okay? I'm going to learn how to properly load my rifle. So my rifle comes up into my workspace. I don't load my rifle down here. So, okay, bolts locked back, gun's clear, okay? You're gonna insert your magazine. You're gonna index your bolt release, drop on home, and now I always do the press check this way because I like to make sure that there's a round in the chamber. Some people say you're going to look on the left-hand side, and if the next round is on the right-hand side, then you have one chambered. I actually like to see one chambered. Let the slingshot the bolt home, give the forward assist a tap, and then if you're going on duty or this is going in a next to your bed, then you're just going to close the dust cover. Okay, so now my gun's loaded. If that's the way I want to carry it in a condition 1 mode, if I'm going on that. Now, if I'm going to go do some work. Now, the best way to load this gun, the safest way to load this gun, is you're going to put it in condition 2, which means the chamber is going to be empty and the magazine is going to be in. So, drop the bolt, reach for your magazine, insert your magazine, and then your safety is going to be on. Again, this is condition 2, so your bolt is forward on an empty chamber, and you have a loaded magazine with the safety on. And then you close your dust cover, and now, again, sits by your bed. This is the way I would suggest it, by your bed, or in your patrol car, or in your truck, whatever you have it for. That's the best way of doing it. Now, if you have to employ it, all you have to do is pull back on the charging handle, and now you have a round chamber. Okay, so that's how we learn. That's how we're learning how to load the AR-15, and we're doing it properly. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work on reloads. Okay, and again, all these are inert dummy training rounds, so I can do this without ever shooting a round. Okay, so now what we're going to do is focus on, again, a attack reload, just like we talked about, or a proactive reload. So we're going to be on target. We just shot maybe 10 rounds. We have a 30-round magazine, and then I have a spare 30-round magazine right here. So the best option to do is to do attack reload. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the gun into my workspace again. I'm going to bring the magazine up. Okay, bring the magazine up, and what I'm going to do is I have the magazine just like this. I have these pincers right here. What I'm going to do is bring the magazine up. I'm going to L-shape the magazine. Okay, this is my full, and my partial is in the gun. All I'm going to do is rotate it 90 degrees. Now I have this. All I'm going to do is index it onto my magazine carrier, and now I'm ready to go. So again, fire, 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 fire. Okay, roll to a safer place as it is right now. I've just shot 10, 15 rounds. I have a partial magazine. I'm going to tack reload my rifle and place it back into the mag carrier. Okay, and again, I'm not looking at the mag carrier. That's the whole purpose of having the proprioception, the kinesthetic awareness of where everything's at in your gear and being proficient with it. That's the goal. So again, just shot 10, 15 rounds. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Okay, world's a safer place. We're gonna do a proactive reload, L-shape it, reach for mag carrier, and then go from there. All right. So the next one we're gonna do, just like we did with the pistol, is now we're going to do an empty gun reload. We just fired, the gun went empty. Okay. Do I need to know what happened? No, you're going to feel the gun go empty. And then once the gun goes empty, you're going to drop the magazine, you're going to reach for that new magazine, insert it in the mag well, give it a push-pull, then you're going to index on your bolt carrier, and then the bolt carrier is going to drop, and you come back on target. All right? So, question about the safety. A lot of people ask this question, okay, on a empty gun reload, is it necessary for an empty gun reload to have the safety on? So with an empty gun reload, the gun is empty. What is the priority? Getting the gun back in the action. So there's going to be a lot of schools of thought behind that. Just be like, well, you always employ the safety. Well, sometimes the safety won't actually engage, depending on the status of the rifle if it's broken. So if the gun's empty, get the gun back in action. That's the goal. Now, if I'm doing a tack reload, okay, I've just shot shot a bad guy, 10, 15 rounds, you know, and then what do you do after that? You engage your safety. Then once you engage your safety and make the conscious decision to reload, then you're going to perform your proactive reload, okay? Your proactive reload. So again, the gun's on safe because the gun is still loaded with a round in the chamber, all right? So we can work on that. Now, can we work on timing of that? Can I put myself to a timer on a reload? Yeah. And again, just setting that par timer, just like I did with what I did with my pistol on the drawing. Now I can do my manipulation. Okay. We're not even going to get into malfunctions of pistols or rifles or shotguns. Just giving you some dry fire manipulation practice. So that's something you can do with your rifle. Okay. Now the shotgun. So the shotgun here is Benelli M4. It is a semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun. So people love having a shotgun. They're like, the shotgun is the best home defense gun you can ever buy. Okay. Again, I think that's an elementary argument. There's a lot of weapons out there that can do a good job. This is just one of them. Not everybody can run a 12-gauge shotgun. It is, the best way of explaining it is a caveman club weapon comparative to a lot of other weapon systems. So the big one is it is our most limited capacity gun that we have. So this is one of the highest capacity shotguns that you can get on the market. You're looking at 6+2, so I can actually carry eight shotgun shells in my shotgun here. But again, it's only limited to 8. So now I can learn how to tack reload. So the first thing is, let's just go to the different loadings. So you can see how my shells, again, these are inert training shells, but you can see my shells, some are up, some are down, and then some are up. The reason why I do that is because for my real shotgun that I carry, that I use, the whole tube, the magazine tube, is loaded with buckshot, and then the side saddle, 3 of the side saddles loaded with slugs, and then the other 3 is extra buckshot. So the biggest I guess pro of a shotgun is I can load different types of ammunition into the gun, and that's great. A lot of people go, well, that's awesome, the versatility of the rounds. Well, can you do that on the fly? Well, I've never thought about that. Okay, so let's go into Fantasyland. Say I have the tube full of buckshot. How do I get with a Benelli M4? And that's all I'm going to be doing is just a Benelli M4. Now there's pump action shotguns as well. This is a semi-automatic shotgun. I don't have to pump anything. As fast as I press the trigger, the gun's going to self-load and shoot it as long as I pull the trigger. So how do I load? So I have an empty chamber. Okay, I have an empty chamber. All right, and I have a fully loaded tube full of buckshot. How do I get the say it's a slug, I'm looking and I'm like, man, there's a guy out at 50 yards. How, and he's going to hurt my family. How do I employ that? I'm not going to try to shoot the person with buckshot because it's going to be completely ineffective. Okay, so how do I employ that? So what I'm going to do is come up, okay, reach for your charging handle, come over the top with the slug, and then drop it in. Once it drops in, reacquire, and then shoot. And what that will do is it'll rack it out and then load another round. Now I have a buckshot in there. Okay, so now okay, now I need to take another shot with a slug. Okay, I'm going to rack it open again, feed it, and then drop it in, and then continue firing. Okay, now say all of my my tube is loaded with buckshot, and I want to put 2 slugs in. Well, I can only occupy 1 for the chamber, and then I have to put 1 in the tube. So with the Benelli, you're going to see an elevator button right here, right there. All right. So what that's going to do is allow a shotgun shell to come on the elevator. You're going to hear that. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to click it, reach, drop 1, come over the top, put that in, and then come underneath and drop. Now I have 2 slugs in my shotgun. So that's what we call a double slug select. So I'm going to rack it, come in here, come over the top, then feed to the bottom, and now I have 2 shotgun shells. Okay, right? So we're going to drop that. So again, that's a double slug select. All right. So that's you can do that with just dummy rounds. You don't have to shoot anything. You don't have to expend any ammunition. You can just work on it. So I can work on speed loading. I can work on speed reloading. So say the shotgun goes completely empty. Okay. I'm here. I shoot. The gun racks, and then I just keep shooting. Now I'm completely out of ammunition. Completely out of ammunition. Hold on. So I'm completely out of ammunition. The gun locks back here. Now all I have to do is come over the top, grab it, and then bring the shotgun shell in. Okay, so you can work on that. Now, as we always teach in shotgun classes, if you're not shooting, you're loading. Okay, so after you've just shot, boom, 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 boom. Okay, everything's a safe world. Now, what we're going to do, if I grab a couple more shotgun shells off the ground, and I have my shotgun set up, now I can work on tack loading. Okay, let me empty this guy out. Okay, so we're here. Now, what I'm going to work on is not just grabbing one at a time and then loading them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab 3 at a time, and I'm going to load them 1 at a time. Okay, 1 at a time. There we go. Okay, 1 at a time, but I have 3 in my hand. And then grab the last one and load that last one. Okay, so again, you have to know how to work your shotgun. Again, you don't have to expend any ammunition whatsoever to it. So I hope those drills help. Again, you don't have to have any kind of specialty equipment. All you have to do is order on Amazon or whatever Brownells. You can order the dummy rounds or the inert training rounds. You can work on that and do that. Then if you want to step it up, getting a timer as well as getting a SIRT pistol, you can do that as well. But again, just think outside the box. You can't make any excuses that if I don't have any time, I can't do any training. So just food for thought on that. And then if you guys have any questions, just hit me up on an email, Facebook, Instagram. That's what we're here for, and we're here to help you guys. So the bugs are getting bad out right now. So be safe. Try to stay as sane as possible through this whole thing. And again, what we're here for, we can do classes via Zoom. I just did one Zoom. We just did one this morning. I just did a 2-hour disassembly lesson for a gentleman. He didn't know how to take a gun apart his gun. He just bought it. Again, people are buying more and more guns every day. Did a 2-hour private lesson over Zoom, as well as our online classes. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.